All right, everyone. Another episode of History Hyenas. We're gonna do an episode about an Italian kid, Harry Houdini. Yannis Pappas is on the in the Zoom at any moment. His wife could give birth, and we're gonna just follow. The pimp's gonna follow along all the way to the birthing canal.
Yeah, I am here via Zoom, waiting for my wife's little child to pop out. So we're Zoom. This is about a really cute Italian kid. Maybe he was Parisian. I don't know. He changed his name to Houdini. He added an I. It's just like what Maurisa did with the A. She was Maurice, and then she became Maurisa. He read a book by a guy named Houdini, and he added an I and became that guy. He's trans.
Your dad, because when your dad, pictures of your dad was a fucking Jack Diesel kid, just like Houdini, and my dad was just a fat fucking piece of shit. So I mean, at least you had a Diesel dad.
My dad was a Diesel dad. My dad was a guy. He liked to do a lot of different things. So he was like Houdini, and he's like you. He liked to keep a lot of balls moving at the same time. My dad was a lifeguard. He was a firefighter. He worked at the diner. He played football. He wanted to experience life, a lot of things. And Houdini himself, he kept it moving, babe. The guy started in magic. He went on to being a medium. He did seances. He fucked Catholic women. He traveled to England. He tried to contact his mom. And then he went on, towards the end of his life, he went on a crusade to say that all mediums were full of shit. And that's really the most interesting part about Houdini, because let's just be honest, the kid did a bunch of fucking magic tricks that made black people go crazy, and then he wanted to talk about the truth and give you a long day. And so the last part of his life is the one that I like, because it was a long day.
Wild. Yeah, it's a long fucking day. And what was his dying words again?
His dying words were, I'm a fake, I'm mostly a fake. It's all fake. So
it's what it is.
Yeah, it's what it is.
Dope.
It's my dying words are going to be, I just want some fakes.
No. I think your dying words, we all know what they're going to be. And they're going to be like, I like men. I like men.
I love men.
Yeah, I love men. I just like men.
Yeah.
Heinrich. His real name's Heinrich. And his first trick that he performed at 9 years old as a trapeze act. And he called himself Heinrich, the Prince of the Air. So that's a little bit too long and not as good as Harry Houdini.
And that's what it is. 17-year-old Heinrich Weissenweifer, whatever his original name was, read an autobiography by French magician Robert Houdin, considered to be the father of modern magic. And then a friend told him if you add an I to that name in French, it means like them. So that's where I got Houdini from. It's because he read the book by the French magician. I got it. Okay.
Yes. The thing that's fascinating about Houdini, and, you know, everyone knows Houdini, the most famous fucking, considered the father of magic. The thing that made Houdini, though, wasn't really the tricks. Because let's be honest, a lot of magicians can do that tricks, sleight of hand. I mean, Nate Bargatze's pops is a magician. There's a lot of magicians, you know. But what made him different was he was really the father of doing real stunts that kind of pushed the limit of what reality is or what was possible. And he did this by conditioning himself by having a bathtub in his house that was oversized, and he would hold his breath and go longer and longer and longer. And he would put needles through himself and do all this stuff and get himself out of handcuffs by practicing to use his feet as fingers and be flexible and things like that were real and pushed what was possible. He was definitely a squeak. He was a little guy. He should be squeaking a week next week. He was a fucking squeak. But you know what the funny thing is? Back in the day, a lot of people were squeaks. We only started getting big till we started eating McDonald's.
It's true. It's true. And most magicians aren't really that tall. I guess you can't be really that tall to pull these fucking tricks off, no?
Yeah, no, because if there's a chance during your show, you might have to get on a horse. You got to be a little kid. Because those are the squeakiest of squeaks. For aerodynamic reasons, the jockeys are small because they want to do little less wind resistance to slow them down. So, you know, they're squeaky, but they're definitely aerodynamically designed. So the way Houdini died was, part of what he would do is he would go around and he would challenge people to punch him in the stomach. So, like what, you know, when you get around Bobby Kelly, you just get tempted because it's just mushy.
It's just mushy, yeah. You hit him and his shorts fall down.
Yeah. So he would challenge kids to punch him in the stomach because he had built up his ab muscles so much. and he had trained himself to take so many blows. It's kind of like when kickboxers kick trees to build up that fucking strength. So one kid just was a little too strong. I think he might have asked like a Lenny from a Mice and Mung retarded kid to punch him in the stomach. And the kid just fucking hooked him off.
He just hooked one off because it was John A-Light who came to see him in a different way. And he just hooked one off on Houdini.
He hooked one off, and Houdini died from being punched in the stomach.
Oh, yeah, because it ruptured his appendix.
It ruptured his appendix, and he fucking died. So he died in a hilarious way. And, of course, like we mentioned earlier, a lot of people thought he was murdered by a lot of the mediums who got together and said, we got to do something about this guy who's ruining our fucking hustle. And they came and saw him in a different way and framed it. There's always conspiracy because there's always going to be conspiracies. You know, it's just there's always going to be conspiracies.